We're washed, bro. We stopped for 2 months. We've had longer stops in the past.
Bro, we had like a 4 months stop.
We had 4 months. We did an episode and then another 3 months, and we're still okay. And now, like, not even 2 whole months, and we're so
Jaded,
washed.
bro.
Jaded what? You do fuck all. Jaded of what?
Jaded of...
Jaded of holding the camera for 2 minutes? I can't, no.
Hello and welcome.
Hello and welcome.
We're so washed. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Bread for Toast, episode
23.
23, my God. Oh.
That's in the notes. That's why I know.
Then you took notes for once.
I had to prepare the notes, bro.
Yes, I had to chase you for 2 weeks, but you did.
I prepared the notes. I prepared them yesterday.
We are here today, joined by Stupid. That was the nickname back in episode 1. It's episode 23, and you finally made an appearance.
Yes.
Yes,
I
guys.
made an appearance in Skaftuni, technically. That was
Yes,
my first
But you
appearance.
didn't appear. You voiced.
Exactly. You had a voice role. Now you have an acting credit on IMDb as well. For those unaware, her name is not actually Stupid. It's Emma. Hello, Emma. This is
Hello.
out of the past 4 episodes, 3 have had an Emma in them. That's kind of a weird stat, but it's a true stat. So
They have.
Emmas are taking over Bread for Toast.
That's a weird stat.
We have many
We're prolific.
Gossitins. We have many Gossitins. If you see, if we go
she's
through
not
the
Gossetin.
episodes, no.
So
The
it's
other
not
Emma's
meant.
Gossitin.
The other
That's why I'm
Emma's
thinking it out loud. We have so many episodes. Now we go through a list eventually. But anyways, before I get sidetracked again, episode 23. You guys all saw the short because the short was filmed and released before we actually filmed the episode.
Mm-hmm.
You know, great idea. But Maltese conspiracy theories. Now, when we were looking for the guest for this episode, we needed somebody who had no clue. The dumber and more clueless the person could be on the topic, or in general, the better they would be for what we have in store today.
That's so hurtful for some people we considered young.
What did you consider?
No, we can't say the name.
No, we only considered 2 people, and it wasn't because they were dumb, I'm sick, and I'm just making a bit. Bigar isn't dumb.
No,
Who's
no,
Big
he's not.
R?
Bigar's, when you're older, you'll find out.
Big R? Wait, you were considering Big R?
Of course, but not because he's stupid, because it'd be really fun for this kind
Because
of
there's
episode.
you
don't
because
think?
you were stupid.
Exactly. You just ruined my bit, David. You exposed my bit to the audience.
Plot
But
twist, I'm not actually stupid.
no, you're stupid.
Fuck.
David, this is a topic that you don't know this. This topic goes back to Halik Mil Mobile. We're recording.
I have
now.
the notes.
We haven't started yet. You don't
But
need
they're
your
prepared.
notes.
I'm remembering.
This is a topic that we originally came up with in 2020.
It was one of like the first ideas.
This was, you know how this topic came to be?
How he?
This topic was spawned back during the days of the comedy club. But the first variation of the comedy club, because there were 3. We had done, this was during COVID.
Oh,
We're
I
online.
forgot this.
Exactly, of course.
I forgot this.
We went, and we had a group chat during COVID of 6th form. So we did like the episode of Comedy Club. We uploaded it, and we were like, guys, we need episode 2. What shall we do? And we did a poll on Twitter.
Yeah.
And there were like 3 options, and one of them was Maltese conspiracy theories. And it was on that poll because it was an idea given to us by one of our friends way back in 2020. And we haven't spoken to this person in 5 years.
I don't remember who this person is.
So it's been 5 years. I don't remember if it was one or the other. It's between 2. It's been 5 years. They're definitely not watching. They might be one of the 2 people who it might be actually follows
But
us.
tell me who they are after.
So this might be your idea. If this is your idea, drop a comment below.
Was this also the episode that we had started recording on, but I left in the middle of it because my
No.
internet cut out?
No, that was a
another-
very common occurrence in the past.
That was a
It
very
wasn't-
common occurrence.
It wasn't the case.
It's not anymore. My internet works now.
Yes, but we are doing Maltese conspiracy theories today. Issa, that is quite a broad topic. There's a million Maltese conspiracy theories.
Some of them are real.
That is debatable, right? That is the very nature of conspiracy
If
theories.
they're real, then they're not conspiracy theories, they're just facts.
They might be real to some people, but the government might hiding
That's
them.
what it is.
That
That's
as
what
the
it is.
story goes. But there's a many. So what David and I have done is we've both found a couple that we really enjoy, and we are going to discuss them to you, somebody who hopefully has never heard about them before. That's why we needed the clueless person, you see?
Exactly.
And you're going to rank these, all right? And you can rank them on whatever you want. It can be on originality, how likely they are to be true, credibility, all
Most
that sort
enjoyable
of stuff.
to
Most
listen to.
enjoyable. And there's going to be 5. There's going to be 1 example, then 2 from me and 2 from David. And your job is, well, we're going to discuss them,
Okay.
and then we're going to rank them,
All right.
all right?
Okay.
So to start with the
So
example.
one of them is not a real conspiracy theory.
No, they're
it
all
is.
real.
Oh.
They're all real.
They all exist, all at the same time.
Oh, okay.
They're facts.
All right.
I don't know why we're calling them conspiracy theories.
Okay.
They are real.
So this is more like akin to a history lesson.
I
Yeah,
don't.
this is a
I don't
history.
believe the things I have. If you
I do.
believe your things, that's a different story. To
Mine
start,
have proof.
yeah, these have proof as well. But now we'll see.
Proof.
So Big Eye just messaged me, and the notification just came up. He knows. He knows.
He knows.
He's been sneezing non-stop for this entire
Influential.
lesson. Oh.
The influence of Big Eye cannot be understated. We're going to start with the example conspiracy, and this is the conspiracy from the short. If you guys haven't watched the short yet, open up our Instagram page and watch it. It was super fun to record. But I have to tell you, that day in Medina, it must have been like 29 degrees. And I was with a long sleeve shirt, a sports jacket or a blazer, and long trousers, filled with tourists. Sun is shy, I was going to
It
die.
was.
I was going to die.
But it was worth it because that short is hilarious. It's really, really
Thank you,
fucking
thank you,
funny.
thank
man.
It was very fun.
Prosit.
Short had Medina as the core of its conspiracy. The conspiracy being that there is a tunnel under St. Paul's Cathedral, or Co-Cathedral, I don't know. Cathedral, leading to the Vatican. So that means it passes all the way under the Mediterranean, through Sicily. I don't know if it goes underneath Sicily or around.
I think it deviates around it. I think they didn't want to go anywhere near Sicily, to be honest. They kind of
They
went
end up in
around
Italy though, and it was built in the time of the Knights back then. Like many were stationed in Sicily as well.
I don't know. I'm not an expert
Exactly.
about this. I didn't do my research on this.
This is actually the only one I couldn't find any tangible.
Evidence
of-
of. Amazing.
It's a conspiracy.
That's
They're
what a
hiding it
real
up.
fact is about, having no evidence.
And according to the legend, this tunnel was used to smuggle manuscripts, cheese. I don't know why cheese was such a sought after resource. And Vatican secrets and gold and stuff. All the good stuff. But honestly, this is the example for this reason. It's pretty
Simple.
simple.
It
There's
doesn't
not
have
a lot to
of-
sink your teeth into. But to give both you and the listeners at home a sort of taster of what's to come. So how would you see this overall?
I mean, the fact that there's like so little information about it, I think it's pretty obvious that, it can't be. It's very hard to hide a tunnel from here to the Vatican for all these years with little to no, nothing. But that being said, I do want to believe that it's true for the simple reason. Now, this is going to be a very long and convoluted reason. When I was like 5 or 6, my parents told me I met the Pope.
Amazing.
Kinji Malta. Let me tell you, Stem. My mother told me. I remember very clearly. Kinji Malta.
Which one? Benedict or Francis?
Benedict. Back then.
Benedict. Like in the early 2006 or something.
Back then, Benedict.
Kinji Benedetto Malta.
Wait, 06?
I don't know, or 08.
Benedetto Malta.
Con Zaira. I don't remember meeting him. And I remember my mother telling me that I met him. Oh, to this day, whenever I bring it up, she says, no, you didn't meet him. Forcing I large is off.
This is like Zakku with Leo.
It is.
If you guys know Zakku, winner of Scuff 22, he claims that I spent the first week knowing him, calling him Leo. Which is, there's no evidence, it's just him.
I think he just says it because he thinks it's
him.
cool.
That's another Maltese conspiracy theory.
That is another.
Zakku being Leo.
Zakku being Leo.
Zakku equals Leo.
That's a conspiracy.
Leo
theory.
doppelganger, yeah.
Exact. Oh, maybe the first week it was actually Leo. Dak, The conspiracy is he has a long lost
That's a
friend.
bread for toast original.
Yes. Oh, this would be like a Scaftuni question that's going to screw somebody over in Scaftuni
It
tree.
is.
And they're going to be like, for
Of course.
And Missa, they know. They remember it.
But if they don't watch all the
they
episodes,
gotta watch it,
you know, we catch them out that way. We diverge the true
fake
fans from the
fans.
fake fans, exactly. True fan, we have to shout out. Looking very much forward to this episode, he told us. Elvin also,
Yeah.
contestant couple of times. Up to date with all the episodes, you know, shout out to you, bro.
Dedicated, eh?
Dedicated.
Even waiting so long, not saying anything, and then eventually pop up on your Instagram. Bread for toast, short.
Real fan.
Like real one.
Real one for real. And I mean, we need to try and get him on an episode at some
We
point.
have to, we have
That is a proper episode.
We have to.
So that will hopefully be in the works as well. But let's go back to the topic of today because we love to lose focus. It's fun. It's fun. You pick up on stupid things. But you guys are here for a Maltese conspiracy theories. And now we're going to start with the 4 of
Should
today.
we do this? You do one, I do
Yes.
one. Yes, that's the best way, right?
Now, I think my first one is stupid. So I'm going to start.
All right,
Alright, so I'll do one first and I'll give you one first.
go.
It's just that there is an overwhelming amount of evidence. So the conspiracy goes that Malta is actually a secret alien checkpoint, and that when aliens come to Earth, they use Malta as like a base of operations. They stop here, they park their spaceships,
pretty
and
cool.
then they go on their merry way. Issa, there is a shocking amount of sightings, UFO sightings. Issa, to me, there is inherently a flaw with this conspiracy because a UFO is an unidentifiable flying object. That could be a bird that you don't know what it is.
Yeah,
I
or
can't-
like a plane, or
You
like
know?
a military drone.
Exactly. If there's a bird and it's very dark and I just see something moving and I can't tell that it's a bird, that's an unidentified flying object. It's not an alien, unless the bird's an alien.
Oh,
You know, but
different levels.
I
of
have to give you
relax.
some of these sightings because these are ridiculous. This is the most recent sighting, and this is listed on the American National UFO Reporting Center. It listed a UFO sighting over Melleja on the 4th of May 2023.
Is there some way we can have like a photo of this in the video?
This does not have a photo.
Oh,
I will,
all right,
the ones
amazing.
that do have video.
A great sighting
Yes,
with no
but-
video evidence.
Alright, listen to this. Shape, other. Explanation, Starlink satellite, probable.
So it's just not a UFO.
Characteristics, lights on object. Now listen to the report by the Maltese person
Let's see.
who spotted this. No outline of the object. It was like a long worm. The sky was dark. 15 to 20 lights emitting from what appeared to be its side. The object appeared quite high in the sky. There are always aircraft flying in the night sky. None at the time of the sighting though. Not always, ma insomma. Coming into the Malta airport, the object was a lot higher than local air traffic. It was its length that caught our eye, and the fact it was at least 4 or 5 times the length of any aircraft. At any height, its speed was that of an aircraft. Really, really reputable and well-constructed sighting.
Grammarly is
End up
free.
on the official American UFO.
Because
registry.
an official American UFO web directory is pieced together by other UFO believers.
I don't think they vet them very
I
well,
thought
to
like
be
it was a
honest.
government thing.
No.
No.
I don't think the government would publicly admit that. Not fast, but again, not slow, and flying in a different direction to local air traffic. A local witness told us the direction it was traveling Malta towards Sicily.
Wait, so is he not a witness?
I don't know. It's really worded weirdly. As it was dark, the shape of the object couldn't be identified. It was like a worm with white lights. Over there, he turned into somebody with comprehensive English. The lights were the same size and distance apart, without noise or any other flashing lights or power source. As it went into the distance, the light slowly disappeared, merged to one as it disappeared into the night sky. That is May 2023. Another sighting listed on 11th April 2012 with a news article on Malta Today
That's sour cooking.
says that this French tourist, this Maltese who was returning from France. I'm not sure if he's actually French himself. Was landing in the Loire airport, and he saw a UFO over a house, and it was daytime. So he quickly pulled out his phone. He saw these two white objects, and he recorded them. Issa, there is a video for this. I'm going to show you the YouTube video, and for those at home, the YouTube video is going to be playing while the rest get to watch it. Let me try and open this link, because for some reason clicking it isn't working. There's this video of this supposed UFO.
UFO.
So I want you guys to tell me what you think. This comes courtesy of What the Fuck Flow on YouTube, or WTF Flow, UFO and Disclosure. Can you see? Come closer.
The
there.
clouds. Those white dots.
That is the UFO. It's not a cloud. You see, it went low.
It looks like a drone, I can't lie.
2012. Commercial drones weren't as available.
Maybe it's not commercial.
tkun ħamima ta' xi ħadd.
Imma look how big it is.
Oh, it went down like that.
Oh, look, that's it.
Like
that
that.
orb.
Weird, vera weird.
So now we'll put the footage, and if you can make it out, because I mean it's so grainy.
It's pretty grainy.
Do like a red circle on the white dot.
Yes, but that
That's a
is
thumbnail.
And the
There's gonna be 4 arrows pointing at a circle
the
at it.
circle. That is the second sighting. Now, these are two with reports, so to speak, and there is a lot more. If you go and search UFO sighting Malta, you will find on net, you will find on One. It's crazy. They put stuff. Woo, aliens. But then there is, and I found this to be kind of like a damning article by independent.com.mt that listed all the UFO sightings in Malta, or the most popular ones, up until 2020. And there were 13.
Okay.
From these 13, there was one in 1840 something. One in 1930 something. I will link all of these links in the description on YouTube as well, guys, so you can go and have a look yourself.
So we
The
cite our
references.
sources.
But then the remaining 11 were all between 2007 and 2020, which to me is kind of a
I mean,
red
it might
flag.
just be that Malta's become a hotspot in recent years for aliens.
Could be. These videos were all taken in that 2007 to 2020 period. Honestly, the most recent was 2023. So yes, the conspiracy goes that Malta is the
So why?
one-stop shop for aliens and their UFOs. What do you think, our distinguished alien expert?
Okay. I believe in aliens.
Uh-huh.
Issa,
When you say you believe in aliens, what kind? There's an important distinction there.
I believe there is, at the very least, like singular cell life on other planets.
Okay.
I think it's very, very unlikely
Yeah, no, that's
that
like a
we
very,
are the only life.
I think that's what most people
There's been
believe.
evidence.
I think a lot
found
of
that
people
as
some
well.
sort. Issa how like fully developed or advanced they are, ma nafx. Imma aliens exist, I think. Issa, if they are advanced enough and smart enough to come to Earth, do I believe they will use Malta as their one-stop shop?
Għandhom il-convenience store u x'tagħmel.
Vera.
Imma, then I kept thinking about it. If you look through Malta's history, a lot of people used Malta as their one-stop shop for a lot of things.
That's true.
There was the Knights, there were the Nazis at some point, they tried to take us over, there were the English, there were the French for
I
like
was
a week.
worried. I thought she was going to say we were occupied for one point. I was going to be like, we got the wrong...
We weren't occupied, but they tried to occupy us. That's how we got the Georgian cross. Because
Oh my God, stop talking.
Bro. You see, we did get the
We
right
did get the right
person.
person for, because you're the kind of person they would have on the History Channel, on ancient aliens and so on. Somebody knows out of... Let me just first calm all the history buffs at home. It's the George cross, not the Georgian cross. It's the George cross.
enough, man, I'm playing a bit.
Are you trying to save your... I think you're trying to save...
Allegedly. Anyway.
Allegedly.
Anyway, what was I saying? So those would make sense if everyone else wanted a piece of us, why not the aliens? But then, you mentioned they would come down and park their aircrafts here. Malta is notoriously known for having very, very shitty parking. for long traffics, no one who has the ability to fly and fuck off wherever they want will willingly come to
Forsi
Malta.
jużaw filfla.
Forsi jużaw fil-fil.
Vera. Imma no.
Forsi
The
għalhekk it's a
sightings
no-go
we saw
zone.
were in Mellieħa, were next
On
to
the way to
Luqa.
filfla, oh, they were hovering over the island. U naqra sightseeing.
Sightseeing.
Jien, I think...
Ma titlax fuq il-hop-on hop-off inti. Dik hop-on hop-off tagħhom.
I don't believe this one, le.
No.
I think this is fake.
Can I just say, I really like this conspiracy.
You do?
It's so fun to think Li Malta is like a tourist destination for aliens. Is amazing.
Nowhere else in the world, just
It's
more.
so fun to think. I really like this conspiracy theory. I like this.
Tajjeb. If you had to rank currently the two you've heard so far, where does this
I
one
like
go?
the tunnel more.
You like the tunnel more?
For the only reason that in the short he made a joke about like Ryanair tickets putting it out of commission. And I think that's
That was a
fucking
good joke.
hilarious.
That was a pretty funny
So,
joke.
just
That
because
was
of
on the
that-
fly, that wasn't...
That was on the fly.
We used ChatGPT to help write the script. What is it, Tita?
Fucking ChatGPT.
We use ChatGPT for
course.
everything.
we were trying to copy, obviously, the style of Philemona Kank. I'm not very good at that kind of humor, so we needed it for the dry humor. But then I had like a moment of genius. That, guys, I wanted to like tell you guys a bit of a story about this short because it's so funny. I'm over there.
Go watch it.
Go watch it first off. But this is a behind
And
the
also
scenes
follow
stuff.
from it, please.
We're there, and I'm dressed smartly, right? I am dressed.
You're dressed smarter than most people who wear
I'm just smart.
Yeah.
Shirt, pants, and a jacket.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a smart outfit. It's something you'd wear to a conference, you know. And David's there with the camera, and like he's like stepped back and like framing it. I have this mic, but with the wind buff, so it's like showing it to the hafna, and I'm waiting to start. And you're not nisty because it's absolutely filled with tourists, and I'm not exactly talking quietly. I whisper.
It's not like you're saying like true history.
No, if I
facts.
was saying true historical facts, man, this problema. I'm speaking like an idiot on purpose. Mdina's called the silent city because nobody lives here, except those who do, but they don't count because they're very quiet. There's a guy sitting on the park bench behind me,
Yeah.
looking at me like, oh, shit.
At one point when we were doing the balcony one, the window one, some guy like stopped right behind us, just kept looking, waiting.
So this one. This one was that part of the tunnel. We're there, and I'm like finally doing it. Because I'm taking my time because we're waiting for people not to pass behind us.
Came a second, there wouldn't be people in the background. too
Especially
much.
not walking in towards
Exactly.
the camera. عشان بعد يراو and try to get out of the way, so we get a natural framing. And I start saying the monks used to use the tunnel to transport cheese at night Chuchati. And I'm about to say the Ryanair thing. And this guy, who has been like lurking, I think he wanted to see what we were doing, to be honest. So she saw us going around. Yeah, he's like, and when I start talking, like, Yiji wara David. He's like, there, listening. And I just like, like, no, can't do this. And I just stopped. And then like we waited for like 5 minutes until
Why did you talk to him and tell him like, oh, we're like recording like for a
Because why
comedy
would
bit?
you want to talk to a person?
Maybe he thinks like you're an actual tour guide or you're filming a documentary.
We were talking about a tunnel from
Emma,
the
if he's a tourist,
from
some
the
tourists are really stupid. Have you seen the type of tourists?
a
one that
tunnel
tracks?
from the cathedral to the Vatican. I do not think anyone could believe that.
I mean, even so, I was presenting it as fact. I didn't want to make myself
Yeah.
look like an idiot. Because on the video, it's one thing. It's obviously satire. In person, you know,
Yeah, I guess so.
in person, it could have been a university project.
It could have.
Exactly.
You know? So that was quite the event.
Funny.
So you preferred that one?
I prefer the tunnel. The alien one is too far-fetched. The tunnel, there is...
No, the alien one too far, but the tunnel from the cathedral to the Vatican.
You think
believable.
it's real? Oh, there's a tunnel between Malta and Gozo, so now I know.
No,
to
there
the Vatican.
isn't.
They're building one.
No, they're not.
There's like a constant, like a very heated debate that the Gozitans get into with the Maltese every few months. Because many don't want it, but many Maltese want it.
But there will be one.
No,
why
there
not the
won't.
Vatican?
There are no plans to build a tunnel.
That's
between
what you
Malta and
think.
Gozo.
It's the same monks that built it to the Vatican are building one to Gozo.
There already is one, at least to Tapino.
At least.
Tapino to St. Paul's Cathedral.
So
Cathedral,
to go,
the
so you need to
Vatican.
go to Rabat first, into Mdina, then you gotta go under.
Inti, kif taħseb li Pope Leo, he made it from Bahria fej kellu il-fenkata, he made it to Rome for the conclave. He used the secret.
She's a secret tunnel.
Oh my god.
Bis-saħħa tagħna.
Xaru kaza l-axħar qegħdin ngħidu. Xaru kaza. All right, we just checked the sound because we have to make a cut every 40 minutes. That was the best time to do so. And David is now
I've
going to
loaded
present us.
mine.
I remember one of yours. I don't remember the other. So
I told you both of them yesterday.
I know, and I only remember
I
one.
think you remember the funny one.
Yes.
I'm leaving the funny one second.
Yes.
I'll start with the more common one actually. All right. So in these conspiracy theory circles, there are some like stuff that's always mentioned. So UFOs always mentioned. One that always gets mentioned quite a lot is Atlantis. Where the fuck is Atlantis?
I thought you were going to go this one.
Where is it? Where is Atlantis? Atlantis, there's a few writing about it. By Plato's mentioned it in his writings. Gregory's mentioned it. We don't know where it is. Imma, I was perusing the internet. I found some interesting sources. I found a document on the University of Malta site about how Malta could possibly be Atlantis.
Wait, what kind of document is this?
It's not a thesis. It is like a scientific report.
Yes, I will put it in the description.
We'll
as
put
well.
it in the description. To me, it's scientific.
We'll have it on screen scrolling as well, so people can see what kind of paper it is.
So I'm gonna go through my notes a bit pretty quickly. There's a bunch. I need to speed through this. Mela, Plato has described Atlantis as a powerful civilization. The date he gives it is roughly 96,000. 96,000. 9,600 BCE. So a while ago.
11,000 years ago.
A while ago. Imma, obviously, this is based on like Egyptian dates because we got this information from Egypt. So the dates they were needed to be a bit of rearranging. In reality, if we convert it to kind of the time using the calendar we keep today, it's like 3,700 BCE to 2,500 BCE, least mentioned, which happens to match the Maltese temple cultures. This is what's written in the document. I don't know if this is true or not, but this is written in the document. I take it I believe it. So, Plato, he wrote, Atlantis is past the Pillars of Hercules, which are normally referred to as the Strait of Gibraltar, which is not in the Mediterranean. It's between the Mediterranean and the Atlantic. Imma, the Greeks, they liked exaggerating quite a lot. So their purview of the world was a bit different. So he might have been referring to where Malta is, to Sicily, to I'm not going to say what's underneath us because I'm not sure. I don't want to make an asshole of myself.
Northern Africa.
Yeah, no, I don't know the country. I was going to say the country. I don't remember. In some my head, there's ancient maps that show islands in the region around Malta, more than there are. There aren't many, it shows way more. Would also probably, I mean, this science says this, probably Malta was bigger in the past. The water levels were lower, or there was more land mass. It could have been combined with different, with other islands, like the Pelagian Islands. There's endemic species that are common between, for example, Pelagian Islands. They still exist. They're part of Italy. There are still endemic animals that are common between Malta and those islands, which corroborates the connection between them being geographical. So this is all science stuff. This is science. Science agrees with this.
But what links Malta to Atlantis?
What links Malta? Mela, Malta had a temple culture. It built freestanding megalithic structures. We have in Gozo, we have the second oldest still standing structure in the world. I remember when we were young.
Is this Scorba?
No, Scorba is not the oldest. Gigantea is the oldest because it's still standing.
Okay.
I remember when we were young, we were told it was the oldest. It's not anymore. Turkey beat us. They have an older place. These temples, what were they built for? What do Maltese historians think they were built for? They were built in honor of a fertility goddess, Il-Mara al-Khoshna. Stop laughing.
That's what she's called.
Yeah,
Stop
because
laughing.
last time when we were going over the temples when trying to pick where to record the short, we came across a picture of Ilmar Hoshna. I said, Arad David!
Yeah.
They were built in your name,
They were
David.
built in my name. Imma they were, she was like a fertility goddess or whatever. Plato described the Atlanteans, they did have this kind of fertility goddess thing as well. They're also a very religious people, was very scientific. But there were also, they lived on an island. They were like sailors. They had a lot of maritime stuff, which Malta also has, as we know.
But so is Gantia is a remnant of Atlantis, is that it?
Basically, most of the temples are in fact remnants. Maybe Atlantis.
So Atlantis didn't sink.
Atlantis didn't sink.
Malta.
Land masses don't sink. And then once they get covered by water, when the water rises,
they got flooded.
land gets covered. Malta in reality was a much larger island. At one point, Malta was connected to mainland Europe. It was a land bridge. That's how we have like dwarf elephants. Dwarf elephants, they came from the north, came down. So this is all science. This is science. You can't dispute. This is science.
Yeah, Malta's Atlantis is
More
science.
science, bro.
Where's the rest of it?
Where's the rest of what? Under the water, bro. Cart rats. You know what cart rats are?
No.
You don't know
I
what
know
cart
this.
rats are. You
I
what
know,
cart-
I've read
Cart
this.
rats, they're these like indentations in the floor. They're like little grooves. They go in like parallel lines. They cross each other, whatever. People think they were used with like circular stones to carry heavy stuff on them. Cart rat, there are some people who say cart rats exist under the water. So there have been a few sightings of cart rat-like structures under the water, which would mean why would you have a cart rat under the water?
You tell me. You're the story.
Because the water used to be the land over there used to be above the water.
Why haven't you found any structures?
Because maybe I don't know. All right. The literature doesn't go that deep.
I know why. Actually,
Erosion.
we don't have a submarine deep enough.
We don't have
That's
a
why
submarine
Brett
deep
Fortos will be opening Ocean Gate 2.
Exactly.
And
We have the
and
control over
submerge
there
it.
already.
Let us have PlayStation 5.
Ma, a bit more advanced.
Dak sura tanis.
How we don't
Mux
die.
Logitech.
I want to die. What else? Conclusion. The document argues that Malta was once part of a larger landmass in central Mediterranean that matches both geographically and like archaeologically or like through stories associated with Atlantis. Also included the temples. They are said to be, they are old. The temples, they are advanced, more advanced than the other stuff that was built around the time.
But they are old.
But they are old. Old advanced.
Old.
This is science. This is science. It's real, bro.
Yeah.
Atlantis, Malta.
I had a much more.
Also, I just want to mention this. While doing my research, I found an article talking about Atlantis' Malta. Oh, one point it said, and it's all between Atlantis and Malta, there's also a similar name. You see, Malta in reverse is Atlas. While I looked at that,
What the fuck is Malta?
for 5 minutes. I said, what? There is no S. Why are you saying the M is an S? And what at the end it was like, because in Phoenician, the letter M kind of looks like an S. I was like, that's so stupid.
So, I had the impression that Atlantis was a lot more golden palaces and big, fancy buildings.
But that's all underwater.
I see. So it's just the shitty stuff that stayed on top.
Basically.
All right. And I did actually, while doing some of my own research, come across a piece of evidence regarding
You
Atlantis.
see, it's science.
that
It's
you
everywhere.
didn't. This is an official video on History Channel's YouTube channel from the show Ancient Aliens,
Yeah, but that show is kind of...
where
But that show's not science.
historians and geologists discuss how giants from Atlantis built the temples on Malta. It's a
really
very
big rocks.
stupid fever trip.
They are big rocks.
How
And
did they
these
build
Would you
people-
carry the big rocks?
No, and these people just completely tell you something so stupid with such conviction that it's great. I'm gonna link it below.
Do you not think li to move the big rocks of Gigantia? Why do you think it
You
is
can
called
use the
Gigantia?
Carcarisi, whatever you said.
The Karkarisi, the people from Birkirkara, my people.
It's not your people, it's
My
my people.
people.
Is-silku ta'
għawdex mill-Karkarizi biex jagħmlu ġgantija.
The giants were Karkarisi. They were
ta'
from
somma
Birkirkara.
ċati ġifiri.
Eh?
Ta' somma
Ta' Sormom Chat.
They weren't caked.
They were big though.
They were big.
They
But
were
no
big,
cake.
though. No cake. No cake.
Shame.
I think this is real.
Yeah, it's real.
It
It's
has
science.
science.
So you believe
It's
this?
science.
It's science.
It's fact that Malta was bigger than it is now.
Yes.
Because that is fact.
The land bridge thing is true.
Issa, I believe that Atlantis, Malta was quote unquote Atlantis. It's as if it's filled with like gold or palaces or whatever.
And
Maybe
giants.
yes,
giants.
and
Don't forget the
giants.
giants.
And maybe giants, maybe yes, maybe no, maybe they were stolen by the pirates. Issa, I think whatever, like if bida jgħid David, how David was saying, that whatever his name was, the Greek guy,
Plato.
Plato.
What the fuck? That guy, the Greek guy, that guy.
Yeah,
No, it's an
random Greek fellow.
It's an
Not important.
Oh yeah,
No, no,
Plato.
no.
Like Plato said, like David said about Plato, the Greeks were known for embellishing whatever, so maybe they embellished a bit. So
A
whatever.
lot, Hanina. The way it's portrayed in media, Atlantis.
Oh, have you seen the St. John's Cathedral from the inside?
Dak tal-kavallieri, ħallik minn Atlantis. Gantija ta'
Oh, where do you think they found it from?
Esatti, inspiration. Art is derivative.
Yes.
That's the word.
So where would you rate Atlantis?
Top. Atlantis.
It's the most
Tamil,
real, bro.
Alien. It's real.
It's real.
I believe
It just is.
And I was a big fan of the show. H2O, just add water. And I like to think that I'm part mermaid. So yes, it's real.
No, but Atlantis was, they weren't
No, no, no,
mermaids.
no, 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 no.
They were above the water.
You struck oil, stop digging, David. You're on top of the
I'm
list.
feeling American.
Yes.
No. All or nothing.
Alright.
They were above water, but they were also fish.
No, well, it's science.
Can I just say I don't believe that Atlantis ever existed? Just how I don't believe Troy ever existed.
It's science.
Troy existed.
No, it
No.
didn't.
Yes, it did.
Troy was
Troy-
We wrote a
mentioned.
book about it.
Troy was mentioned in
Made
two
up.
poems.
A fiction book.
The
They wrote two
historical,
books about it.
the historical evidence
Fiction.
of Troy is two poems.
Yeah, but there's two books about it.
What about
so
the
it's real.
horse, though? That's pretty fire.
That is pretty fire.
It's pretty fire.
Well, I'm
should
sure.
make
I'm
one.
sure if you look hard enough on UOM, we'll find a paper about Troy. So
We
it's
might.
real.
I have now what I think. I think I'm going to be biased. I don't remember what your second conspiracy is. So
You
I'm going-
don't. I
don't.
mentioned this yesterday evening.
So
You
I
said this was
completely-
gold.
I completely forgot. And I personally think from the four, including the one I'm about to mention, I think they should take the cake
This is a good one.
if I am as biased as I can be. So, Hypogeum,
Hypogeum.
l'underground temples ta' Malta.
Not a temple.
Not really,
Necropolis.
Are you right? The underground necropolis in Malta. Theory or conspiracy says, and this was, and I will read you now, listed in a 1940s National Geographic article that marru group tal-primarja outing.
Ejja din.
So you know this one? So you see this one has.
What was this one?
This one's a popular one. They went missing, the group of school children, along with their teachers. They entered a chamber, the roof collapsed, and they got trapped, and they never found them. And the article, exactly, reads this. Years ago, one could walk underground from one end of Malta to the other. No, not of Malta, sorry. Yes, of Malta to the other. I don't know why they said Malta, but anyways. But all
It's like the
entrances
tunnels.
were closed by the government because of a tragedy. On a sightseeing trip, comparable to a nature study tour in our own schools, a number of elementary school children and their teachers descended into the tunneled maze and did not return. For weeks, mothers declared that they had heard wailing and screaming from underground, but numerous excavations and searching parties brought no trace of the lost souls. After 3 weeks, they were finally given up for dead. Issa. This is also mentioned in a 2017 Times of Malta article. And in this article, there's this National Geographic article listed, and there is also an excerpt from Heritage Malta's senior curator of prehistoric sites, Katja Strud, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it badly. She believes that this is a conspiracy that was made up to keep rowdy children from running around inside the Hypogeum.
Of course, it's not the case.
Issa, that is not, you think that's the only conspiracy about the Hypogeum, that these kids have gone missing? Because it's a fact that the entirety of the Hypogeum has not been mapped out yet.
No.
There
are certain areas that are closed.
Much tunnels, there's so many tunnels and so much stuff still uncovered, there, still yet to be uncovered, that maybe one day we will find this missing group.
We'll find the children.
But that's not the only conspiracy about Hypogeum, because it's a hotspot, you know?
Like Malta for the aliens.
Exactly. Issa, the next conspiracy is that aliens were buried in the Hypogeum, because in initial reports when excavating the site, it was mentioned that the skulls found there were elongated. Now, Heritage Malta has released an article debunking urban legends myths about the Hypogeum. A bit of party poopers, where they say, oh, there was actually 3 kinds of skulls that humans have, and these happened to be a bit longer in form, but only in a very non-recognizable way, just something that a geologist would be, not a geologist, an archaeologist would be able to tell you. And that then, when the actual skulls were put on display after so much speculation, people thought that they were just regular. Who's to say that those actual skulls were not smuggled by the
aliens.
church using the Vatican tunnel?
It all comes
And
back.
who's to say, maybe, that not the Vatican tunnel, but a UFO
And
might
like they
have
come to
been
Malta
used
because
them.
they're visiting their dead.
They're
or their
visiting the
graveyard.
dead.
They're paying
Much
their
tourist
respects.
spot.
And
I mean,
there
maybe
was,
also tourists, alright.
in the 1940s as well, there was an encounter with humanoid beings covered in white hair. And a certain Miss
Is that not
Lewis...
just old people?
No, covered.
Oh, covered, like
Covered.
Bigfoot.
Covered. A certain Miss Lois Jessup, who was a British embassy worker, found herself, let me read you exactly how the news report goes, found herself teetering above a large cliff with a steep drop after squeezing into a chamber on the lower level of the site. According to Jessup, across the chamber was a small ledge with an opening in the wall. The hominids, she maintained, popped out from this opening and proceeded to raise their palms in her direction.
Hominids.
Humanoid
Ah,
creatures.
humanoids. Oh.
No, hominid is the word, but the whole episode was snuffed out by a gust of wind, extinguishing her candle. Now, they say that this myth is debunked because no such chamber exists in the stratum of the museum. But how can they say that if we haven't mapped out
Bro.
the whole Hypogeum?
Malta is full of construction, they can so easily close that up, bro. If they really
Daċ
wanted to.
kien hawn
Not a
developer.
konkos u lest.
Eżatt, kien hawn developer, u mhux ħanot semmi ismijiet. Imma we all know how the Hypogeum was discovered. They were building, they found it, and they said, oh shit, daqshekk planning authority is going to revoke my permit, so they tried to cover it. And before they could cover it, word got out, and now it is a very important historical site. Maybe, I want to say this like, jokes aside, many of how many historical sites were found in Malta
Definitely.
that were covered up by greedy developers.
Dude, I don't remember which one, but this is actual science. All of my shit is science, but this is actual science. There was like someone who was developing, and as they were digging, they found a temple. What they did, they like raised the foundation up, or they built a house on top of it. But eventually, when they were digging like a cellar, they were like, oh, they were like different owners. Like, oh wait, there's a temple here. They dropped it. In fact, no, the Hypogeum. I think it was the Hypogeum because before my dad told me when he was young, we went to the Hypogeum. Hypogeum was just a house.
It could be when they were expanding.
You'd go into a house. You'd go into the basement of the house. They had Hypogeum.
That's how it is right now, so.
But now it's like a different building.
Yeah.
Back then it was like a regular house.
So.
Very.
Alright.
We've lost stuff.
They say that this wasn't true because there's no chamber with a cliff dropping off. Now, a historian has said that there is a chamber. It's true that there's a set of stairs that just drop off into nothing. But he said because over there's a mass burial site where the ground is much lower. That's why they seemingly drop off. And he said she probably had a candle and in this waterlogged level, because it was waterlogged, reflections from the candle disorientated this person since she was not familiar with the place. And those were the humanoids with the palms and the white hair. Now, I think it's pretty funny and pretty interesting because, okay, I don't really believe that there are these white humanoid features, but the Hypogeum does feel like a very otherworldly place.
I've never been in. I really
Enjoy.
want to. I've never
To
been.
book months in advance.
I know.
So,
But yes, Ron.
resident conspiracy theorist.
Do you believe this?
There's a lot of conspiracy theories. We went through a lot. There's the conspiracy theory of the children getting lost. There's the conspiracy theory of this lady finding humanoid people.
Bunch them together in your ranking when you do the ranking.
Obviously,
then.
I'm listing them off. There's the conspiracy theory, which isn't really a conspiracy theory, but more fact of greedy developers hiding historical sites. Issa.
And the aliens, don't forget
And
the
the
aliens.
aliens, they had the alien burial and the skulls. There's a lot of
And the
weird
church,
shit.
man.
And the
It's all
church.
connected.
And the
And
it's
the
all
tunnel.
connected.
The UFOs.
Kollox.
I really like
Malta
the
Cinematic
Hypogeum.
Universe.
Oh, vera rita more. Oh, because of this and the fact that it kind of connects everything together and is like the hotspot of the conspiracy theories, I would be stupid to not rank it top. Top
Shot like-
conspiracy.
It is true.
And most of them, if they're not fully true, you can kind of see glimmer of truths. Maybe like you were explaining for the British one. Okay, maybe she didn't see humanoids, but there is some maybe a chamber. She got disorientated, blah blah blah. With the skull thing, like Heritage Malta was explaining, there are elongated skulls, but they're not what you were thinking, like fucking Megamind.
Miskin, mega bro, cut this straight.
Bro, leave Megamind alone.
And with the kids, I think it would be possible maybe before when so I don't know, because I know nowadays you need to.
I have to
parts of
say,
it,
with the kids, I have to say, none of these claims have been substantiated by local newspaper reports or accounts from residents, nor have there been any signs of any collapse inside the Hypogeum.
Okay. Ma nafx, I've heard it quite a bit. Oh, I think it is
it is a Maltese legend. The kids got lost. I don't think there's any written proof this happened, but I believe it happened.
Or maybe they
Why
got
would I
lost and
not
then they got
believe?
found, or maybe they went someone went into a room
I
and
think we're
started
gonna
screaming.
one day dig apart. What we're gonna find is connected to the catacombs of France in Paris.
Mux bit, fucking il-hotspot tal-Europa.
catacomb, bro.
Catacombs tal-Franza, il-Vatican City.
Well, you know what?
Fil-flaq
This actually
Atlantis.
is also connected to Atlantis. Because when was it built? Who was it built by?
The giants, the alien
Why was
giants,
it water
covered
Atlantis?
in white fur.
So, the overarching theory. Atlantis. Malta. Bigger. UFO sites. Aliens.
Touristi.
Mela, first there were these white
Giant,
the giant
fur-covered
people.
aliens.
They lived on Malta, Atlantis, big Atlantis. Eventually, they make all they make the temples, they're very big, advanced for their time. They make rocket ships, they go to space, they become the aliens. They lose their fare. They've buried the people there because they're in space, they don't need fare anymore. They've buried their people there when they were in Atlantis, exactly. They come back. Now they come back to pay their respects. It's all one thing, bro.
What
The
about
giants
the
are from
tunnel?
Atlantis.
What about the tunnel?
Which one?
The Vatican one.
The Vatican one, they're also Christian, so they're like going to the Vatican.
The Roman Catholics,
yeah.
The aliens are
The
Roman
aliens.
Catholics.
If you look at a UFO, there's like a cross in every single one of them.
Like the classrooms.
Yeah. Yeah, they're Christian. They're Roman Catholics.
And
Some of the monks were giants, that's how they built it.
They're descended from the giants.
fil-kartiera għandu talba ta' ġizwiti.
Yeah.
He has the Rosario on the spaceship dangling kif ikollhom fil-karozzi l-Malti.
Yeah, eżatt.
God bless, God bless.
Bless.
That's the overarching theory. Now you have one left.
And I think I can connect it to this as well.
Does it
We'll connect it
connect?
at
It's
the
all
end.
connected.
I'm
They're
so
all
excited.
connected. We didn't plan to connect them all.
Of course, but since
But they're
it's
true.
because
Since
they're-
it's history.
Because it's true.
Since they're factual, look.
It's true. It's science. It's science.
This is such a fever trip. Of
It's
an episode.
science.
All right, so David has his final conspiracy, and he sent this to me last night, and I do remember him sending it to me, and I do remember saying, "Ha ha ha, this is gold."
You just don't remember what
I
it
do
is.
not remember what it is,
Alright.
so I'm looking forward to seeing what it is.
Mela, let's look a bit at the history of Malta. So, 1530, a while ago.
During the nights.
During the Knights. Was when the Knights came, actually. Knights of Malta, what do we know about them? What do we know about the Knights of Malta? They were Christian.
Like the
aliens?
Oh my god!
Oh, wait. I don't want to start with unsubstantiated stuff yet. I want to give it some time, so let it marinate. So, the Knights of Malta. They became known as the Knights of Malta. When they came from Rhodes first. But they came here. 1530. The Knights, Malta, we have a lot of stuff left from the Knights. They built a lot of buildings. They built our capital city, built Valletta. They built it. They fixed Mdina
After the earthquake.
So they helped a lot. They helped in a lot of stuff. But eventually, they left. In fact, the Knights of Malta, they still exist.
To be fair, they come back every now and then.
They come back every now and then.
Or the
But they're
Knights-
being-
the Knights of Saint John.
The Knights of St.
It's,
John.
I don't know if we mentioned this.
The
We saw the Knights of Saint John.
We did.
During
Weekender one.
It was
the first one.
First one. Because the Grandmaster had just died and they came to bury them in
We were
Malta.
walking back.
was the
and Zach
first
was,
time in a
really
couple of
drunk in
years.
Malibu.
He wasn't that drunk, he was playing
yeah.
it up. The medical students were really drunk.
That's why we got banned on bad because of the fucking medical students. Or
No, we were.
No, those medical students still do it.
The medical students still do it there. The ICT people are very not well behaved as well.
So, Knights of Malta. They still exist nowadays. So,
The Knights of Saint John now they are known as mainly.
they're still known as
So
Knights of
Knights of Malta, the Order of Saint John.
They are the Order of St. John. They are a nation without land. They are a sovereignty. They have a passport. They have the rarest passport in the
That's
world.
so cool, bro.
They have the rarest passport in the world.
Can we become Knights of Saint John for that passport?
I think it will be pretty
celibate.
good. I think you do need to be celibate.
So Jan's okay.
Fuck you.
Why did you have to point that out?
Fucking
You're such a
caught
dickhead.
astray for no
For
reason.
no reason.
No? What does that say about you? Are you married?
No.
See? I'm a good Christian
Roman
boy.
Christian,
like the aliens.
like the aliens. Yeah, they have this one of the rarest passports in the world. They're their own sovereignty. They operate in like over 100 different countries, but they don't have land. They are a nation without land. They're very prolific across the world. A lot of the world. 100 countries, that's a lot. Their main base is in Rome.
That's more than two.
It's more than 2. Their main base, Rome. What's in Rome? The
Vatican.
The Vatican. But wait, let's wait a bit.
We have to see what the actual conspiracy
Let's see what the actual
is.
conspiracy theory is. When we talk about conspiracy theories, forget Malta, conspiracy theories. What's the one thing that always gets mentioned?
Aliens.
No, as in like a which is the institution?
The church.
Apart from the
Illuminati.
church.
The Illuminati.
A real one. The church is real. Wait. Not a government. Which governmental thing gets mentioned a lot?
The Illuminati.
The Illuminati is not a government. The CIA. Conspiracy theories with the CIA.
Well, to be fair, I forget Malta, so I wasn't thinking of any countries.
Conspiracy theories, CIA. Prolific. How many aliens have the CIA hidden? Hundreds.
Thousands.
Thousands.
Area 51.
They were leaking some last year.
They weren't leaking, they were official.
That was
Do you
Mexico.
know who the founder of the CIA is?
The Pope.
La Valette.
The founder is William Wild Bill Donovan.
That's quite.
He
a
was
name.
the head of the OSS. You know the OSS is. It was the precursor to the CIA, and then the founder of the CIA. He was also a Knight of Malta. He had a passport with the sovereignty of the Knights of Malta. There were counterintelligence chiefs. James Jesus Angleton. He was a chief who manned the Vatican desk and the Israeli desk.
The CIA have a Vatican and Israeli desk.
Yes. There was George W. Bush, not the president, the CIA director, different George Bush.
Okay.
George H.W. Bush was the director. Oh, no, wait, he was the president. It is the same guy. The president who was linked to a part of the Knights of Malta. That's very prolific, important people in the CIA.
What evidence is there of this?
But they just are. They have there is like proof they are Knights of Malta. Like when you become a Knight of Malta member, you get a passport. They had this.
Taqra membership.
You are a citizen of that now. You are a citizen of the sovereign Knights of Malta.
It's like when you subscribe for Club Penguin Plus.
Exactly. Of course, there's a bunch of. If I had to mention all the CIA theories, I'd be here all day. There's so many.
All year, man.
All year. There's so many. Even if you look at the aliens only. So many. So many. Never ending. It is weird. There's so many alien stuff. They come from the Knights of Malta, of all people. It is a bit weird.
The convenience store.
Convenience store.
And parking.
They have the CIA. They're connected to a lot of mind control stuff like MK Ultra. It's a CIA thing. Mind control.
That was a special edition of Mortal Kombat.
No.
Pop off.
It's a lot of stuff. Oh, going back to the Knights of Malta, this is just a connection to a powerful world government, the CIA, part of the American government. Probably the most powerful government in the world. Knights of Malta have a connection to this. Their founder, maybe, my founder, Phil his traces, they must lie somewhere.
So what's the theory?
The theory, it's not really a theory, they are connected, the Knights of Malta and the CIA. But obviously the Knights of Malta, there's a bunch of theories about them, a bunch of conspiracies about them. Some people say they're part of the Vatican shadow government, rules over the world. They're a secret intelligence enforcement agency. So they're spread across the world so much. That's why they have such easy diplomacy ties. They have they're extremely leisurely diplomatically from other countries. They've manipulated they have control of Western intelligence agencies, like the CIA, MI6, and the Mossad. They have influences in these. Mossad is, I don't know which one it is. It's one of them.
ChatGPT didn't tell you which one it was?
I can search it really quickly, but this is bad content. Mossad.
You didn't prepare? Manash.
It's Israeli.
All this yapping.
I
I thought so.
Or where it counts nothing.
Some people say there's evidence for some of this, because of obviously the science of it. They've manipulated global banking and economics. The Knights of Malta, Always Malta, always Malta. Obviously, there's connections to Freemasonry. In Malta, we have a Freemason lodge. We have the Grand Lodge of Malta. And obviously with the Illuminati. Fil-fatt, George Bush, connected to the Skull and Bones, they're called, which were an offshoot of the Freemasons, had connections, Knights of Malta. Very, very, very big. But the biggest one is that they are the Knights Templars. You know who the Knights Templars are. The Knights Templars don't exist anymore. Weak compared to Knights of Malta. Prolific. But some people say the Knights Templars, they got absorbed by the Knights of Malta. Oh, the Knights Templars, they were a very conspiratorial bunch as well. They had their fingers in a lot of pies. They were
I have to tell you,
dangerous.
you're breaking my balls.
Breaking your balls.
Cut to the chase.
The chase is this. This is the chase. Knights of Malta have their fingers everywhere. They manipulate the world from everywhere. That's the theory.
They're
states.
pulling the strings.
They're pulling the strings. They've made the strings that they are then pulling. They are prolific. Would they all come? Malta. From here. That's where it started. This is where they became...
Malta number one.
Malta number one. Malta on top. It's they have this connection to the Vatican, which we know where the aliens are Christian, Roman Catholics.
Important.
They have this connection to the CIA, governments.
So they're very powerful.
Very powerful. Well, I enjoyed listening to the theories we came up with because this one, it fits in almost perfectly.
We come up with, we have evidence.
We have evidence.
Factual.
But as we were describing
Yes,
them,
factual
we were
and product.
building up this story. Not the story, this reality.
Well, we're just piecing the puzzle together.
We're just piecing the puzzle together.
You know? So now we have the Grand Maltese
Exactly.
Conspiracy Theory. What
The
is
Grand Maltese Conspiracy Theory. We can go over this.
we
by
should
time.
we should finalize this at the end. Where do the Knights of St. John
Malta,
ruling the
CIA.
world CIA Knights of St. John are pulling the strings of the world rank.
This is real.
Top to bottom.
Top to bottom to top.
Bottom to top.
Ah, yeah.
Worst to best.
Mela. The alien coming here for tourism.
UFO.
The
Malta.
UFO. Whatever David was going on about with
The
the
Knights
past-
of Malta.
Yes.
They are.
It
Bro,
was so
if
long
this doesn't go
and
up,
so
this episode, it's
tiring.
because of them. They're taking it down.
Dude, you
We
took
know,
so
bro.
long to get to the point. And the
'Cause there's so
theory
many
isn't
points.
even a theory.
There's
The-
so-
the
it's not- it's
conspiracy-
science, bro.
Yeah,
And
the
it beats,
science.
it beats the aliens.
It barely beats the aliens.
It's science, bro.
My
The
God.
Roman Catholic aliens, man.
It beats the science.
Then you have the tunnel.
All
Then
right.
you have Atlantis, and then you have the Hypogeum.
All right, so we got two, the top two at the bottom. Me and you, we kind of evened out. We evened out.
Ashmarin, I'm sorry. This is a very interesting
Wait,
conspiracy
let me
theory.
find it. I
of
found
the
a
Knights.
document that describes this, which says about a bunch of people. who
Emma
are members.
Marelli, l'introduction, man, it felt like I was watching like a YouTube short. Bill part 1, watch part 2, watch part 3 for them to just show the fucking reveal.
reveal.
So if we
And I
had
like
to,
zoned out halfway through.
We can build it, eh? We can build the Grand Maltese
if we
theory.
had to, this will be the short of the episode to get people to watch it. If we say,
You know, it would be nice right now, like a cork board with the red string.
Marelli, عندك شي cartoncino.
Le, if we had
Not
to,
arts and crafts.
we're going to piece it together
We'll
now.
piece it together
We've
now.
been talking for the past hour, 45 minutes, hours enough, about Maltese conspiracy theories, and we finally cracked the code. We broke the
entire-
code like Nemo. Whoa.
Oh.
So,
That was a deep cut. Eh? I did not get that Malowell.
where it's Eurovision of last
And
year.
I was thinking
Who
Nemo
gives
the
a fuck about the
fish.
Eurovision?
I know.
Eurovision's probably a
last
Knights of
year.
Malta
Last
thing
year
as
was
well.
kind of mid.
Probably Austria won thanks to the Knights of Malta.
Probably.
They couldn't let their ops.
So what is the overarching conspiracy theory?
You've been here, you should know.
You are the expert.
Roman Catholic giant white fairy aliens come to Malta to visit their dead.
They were in Malta already.
They were in Malta. Okay, so let me start from the beginning.
You've lost your chance.
Let's
David.
start from the start.
David,
We can do this collaboratively.
Okay.
We don't need to do it by ourselves.
So this is the grand theory,
grand theory.
the grand Maltese conspiracy theory. We've taken 5 theories
I
that
feel like
have
I'm on
had
drugs, bro.
varying levels of evidence, and we've pieced them together.
because they're all fact.
Because they're all
Back,
science.
back in something BC,
970 BC.
9700 BC, there were the
Atlantis.
there was Atlantis, but because of the white fair giant
Giants.
aliens in Malta.
were
They
Roman
lived here. It was their country. They lived here. It was
They
their home.
lived here and they built temples,
The temples. Advanced.
but to the
And the tracks.
Fertility goddess.
to fertility goddess. But they were Roman Catholics. That's why they had to leave.
That's why they had to leave. They had to convert.
They had to leave because they were cast out. Was their punishment. They had to
Inquisition. Not the right time period.
stay- No wonder they are only returning now in these past 10
Exactly.
years. It
With
makes
Pope Leo.
Pope Leo fejn daħal miskin.
Pope Leo, he just became. They're especially gonna
Le,
come
bro,
back.
they've been coming back for 10 years. Aqta,
Papa
Eġibda.
Francisco.
Eġibda.
They also like him.
Eġibda.
Erjibda, Grand Theory.
The Grand Conspiracy. 7,600.
9,700
BC. There were the white fair giant aliens in Malta. It was their home. They lived here. And they built
The temples.
and they were Roman Catholics.
They were
Even
Roman
though
Catholics.
Roman Catholicism came to be
Yeah,
7,000, 8,000 years later, they were.
were.
Before Christ, they were.
They were. They
No,
knew.
this makes sense. No wonder they first built temples of fertility goddess. Because they weren't. They were first
How
misguided.
could they have been Roman
Yeah,
Catholic?
Exactly, they were
They
misguided.
couldn't
became
be.
after.
So the temples they built them to the fertility goddess. That was all they knew back then. They weren't.
No, they weren't.
But they were
weren't,
smart.
yeah.
They built the temples. They were very advanced. The temples. Also, they were big, so they could
Of
move
course.
the big.
I mean,
rocks.
the temples are Atlantis.
They are
so-
Atlantis. They come from Atlantis. Malta was Atlantis.
Malta is Atlantis.
Malta is.
Well, it has
Atlantis.
the remnants of
It's
Atlantis.
Atlas.
It's Atlas.
Atlas Insurance.
Atlas. Oh
my
my god, bro. Kollox qed jinfetaħ issa.
Oh my god.
Everything, bro.
The Knights of St. John controlling the banks, controlling the money.
Because Atlas
Insurance.
Insurance.
So
It's all coming together.
So then
It's all coming
Roman
together.
Catholicism comes, and the Knights come, and the Knights they build.
Roman Catholicism came way before the Knights.
Yes. Roman Catholicism, and then the Knights.
Then the Knights.
And the Knights built when the Mdina suffered the earthquake and they had to fix it.
Part of the cathedral was broken.
Exactly, and
They
during the renovations, they added the tunnel
They
to the
found
Vatican.
the tunnel, the monks. They built it with the monks. At this point,
The monks that were aliens.
the monks that were, but at that point, the monks that were aliens, only a few of them were left in Malta. Most of them had left. They went on their pilgrimage because once Roman Catholicism became a thing, they needed to atone for their sins. Some of them stayed on Earth.
Marul Camino di Galacticoso.
Esatto. Some of them stayed on Earth. That's why they were in the Hypogeum.
Exactly, with the long skulls.
With the long skulls.
And the ones that Luis, the embassy
with the
worker, with the palms.
Some of them, they were digging the tunnel, or they dug the tunnel, or they
And
finished
they got lost, and they were mistaken for kids. I like they heard screaming, but there were no records of people going missing.
It could have been young, white, giant children who look like men because they're giants.
This makes
so much sense.
so much sense.
Issa, the Knights of St. John, strong connection to the Vatican.
And the
Knights of
CIA.
St. John- And the CIA. All conspiracy. CIA, what do they hide? Aliens. They don't want us to know about the Roman Catholic aliens. Because all aliens are Roman Catholic. That's just
That's just the standard.
It's just standard. That's the religion they chose.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Crazy how they chose our religion.
All of this because of the white giants, the white-faired giants,
The white fairy giants.
from the Knights of Malta.
So this report
From Malta.
that was in
We should
news-
write a scientific paper about
this paper that was in the news a month ago, that they found new historical evidence about the earliest people in Malta. That's all wrong.
That is all wrong,
That's
bro.
all
We
wrong.
cracked it.
Amlu tant amlu
They're
Some
covering
flukes,
it
man.
up.
coverage or hababil or whatever.
This is mainstream academia, bro. Trying to put our theory down.
The truth was right here all along. There's
But
gonna be,
it's science. It's science.
It's
It's
there's
actually
gonna be
science.
so many jump cuts in this episode, just
science.
unexplained, because we've been saying so much stupid
science.
shit.
And I think with the science, we can start wrapping it up.
Yes, no, of course. I think that is food for thought.
What's our final thesis
So
statement?
wait.
We need to
Can
find
we
the
conclude that our current Maltese descendants of Atlantis,
Atlantis.
yeah.
No.
No.
The current Maltese are the ones that the media tell us about.
So where
They're
did
not
we
the
come
true
from?
first Maltese. We came from those that the news tells you that they came from
Sicily,
Greater Europe,
the
so on.
hunter-gatherers.
Exact.
Femtech.
But
We've
true-
lost all connection, all human connection to the white fair giants has been lost.
the Atlanteans.
The Atlanteans.
The
We
Roman-
call them what they are.
the Atlanteans.
The Roman Catholic Atlanteans.
Exactly. That they weren't always Roman.
They weren't always Roman Catholic.
But now they are.
But now they are.
Like all the aliens.
Should we finish this with our thesis statement?
I leave that in
Our
your
thesis
very capable
statement.
hands.
The island of Malta was once part of the great empire of Atlantis, ruled by the white fair giants, who then became aliens and are Roman Catholics, and the Knights of St. John, who have a connection to them, are also CIA.
To correct you, it wasn't part of the Great Empire of Atlantis. It was the
It
Great
was the
Empire
great.
of Atlantis.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, so it was the Great Empire of Atlantis. It's going to be the title of the episode, the thesis statement.
Taiwa.
Ah,
Really.
it was good.
It was good.
So that's our thesis statement.
That's our thesis
That's our
statement.
final saying. Thank you very much
you.
If
for
you
joining.
disagree with this, please put them in the comments. We will not read them because we are right.
And more engagement.
I will
so
read
please
them.
put them in the
But they'll
comments.
be wrong.
Depends.
I will
Yeah, if they're
dislike
agreeing with
every
us, they're
single
right.
comment
If they're
that
agreeing with us,
disagrees
are
with
obviously right.
It's actual science. You can't disagree
is
with it.
science.
I really
the sky
hope
is
no
blue.
prospective
The
employers
acceleration
ever
due
see
to
this
gravity is
episode.
9.8.
I really hope
This is
history
fact.
students see this.
I really hope that the MUHS does a movie night and they're just watching this episode.
So they'll watch
Tom aneurysm imseken. Georgian cross. Fucking.
That was you.
Georgian cross. Ciao guys.
Or
Ciao boss.
Varaskelia on the cross instead of
Varaskelia.
the dragon being slayed.
Good episode. Ciao boss.